snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So I am here today to do a TBR for a very impromptu readathon that was set up very recently by 4 lovely ladies. We'll link all of their Twitters and their channels down below so you can go and check all of them out. And that is the Diversathon readathon, which is happening Monday the 12th of September to Monday the 19th of September. Basically, this readathon was started because there was a nasty video that a few people retweeted and spoke about on Twitter, and it kind of steamrolled into this really nasty video going kind of viral. I watched some of the video, I watched half of it. It was just a really disgusting video to watch. It was about whether or not diversity is something we should strive for, whether it's important, whether it's something that we should have, and I completely believe that it is. And this person who made this video was very much of the, I don't think diversity should exist, I don't think we need to promote it, I don't think it's something interesting. Basically, they were just very adverse to what I believe and very rude about the way that they put across their ideas, which I just believe are crazy ideas. Like, they just, I don't understand why anyone would think like that. But whatever, that aside, something good has come out of that video, and that is the Diversathon, which, as I say, it's happening from the 12th of September to the 19th of September. So if you want to join in, you are more than welcome. Everyone is welcome, hence diversity. And the great thing about this is it's really open to your interpretation. You can read whatever you want as long as you think it fits in with diversity, which is pretty much everyone and everything. So it's very open. I personally have quite a few books on my shelves that are written by authors who come from a different country to me. So I kind of want to prioritise reading their books in the week that is Diversathon, because I've had a couple of them for a while and haven't got round to them, and I think it's a perfect reason, a perfect, wonderful reason to read all of these authors' books and find out more about their culture, their heritage, find out more about their writing influences, something that I just want to do for me. So this is a great excuse. So I'm going to show you guys what I have planned. I have a whole stack of books. I doubt I'll get to all of them because it is only a week, but I am hopeful that I'll get to a lot of them. So do leave me your comments down below with which ones of these you really want me to read, because I will definitely take them into consideration. So let's get started. The first book I have to show you guys is called A Tale for the Time Being, and this is by RUTH OZEKI, and I believe it was shortlisted in 2013 for the Man Booker. I picked this up because of Mercedes quite a while ago, and I believe RUTH OZEKI is actually an American-Japanese writer, so her mother was American, her father was Japanese. No, that's the wrong way around. She had an American father and a Japanese mother. So I would really like to read more fiction by authors who are not the same as me, who are not English or American, because that's very similar. So I'm interested in this. It says, A Tale for the Time Being is a timeless story, and RUTH OZEKI beautifully renders not only the devastation of the collision between man and the natural world, but also often the miraculous results of it. She is a deeply intelligent and humane writer who offers her insights with a grace that beguiles. Riding the waves of a tsunami, it is making its way across the ocean. It will change the life of the person who finds it. It might just change yours too. I think it's going to be quite hard-hitting. I think it's going to be emotional. I definitely am excited to read this, so again, let me know if you think this is one that I should read. The next one I was planning to start on the 19th anyway, and that is Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. So Haruki Murakami is a Japanese author. I have read one of his books before, which is 1Q84, and I enjoyed that one a lot. I haven't read any of his other work since then, just because I haven't got to it, I haven't prioritised it, but I am definitely intrigued to do so. So I have this one. I've been meaning to read it for ages, and I think I'm going to start it during this week. The blurb says, when he hears her favourite Beatles song, Toru Watanabe recalls his first love, Naoko, the girlfriend of his best friend, Kazuki. Immediately he is transported back almost 20 years to his student days in Tokyo, adrift in a world of uneasy friendships, casual sex, passion, loss and desire, to a time when an impetuous young woman called Midori marched into his life and he had to choose between future and past. So it sounds pretty intriguing. Definitely one that I'm considering. The next one I have is one that does intimidate me a bit, and it's this one. It is called A Fine Balance, and it's by ROHINTON MISTRY, and I am a little intimidated by this one because it's about 700 pages and it's tiny writing, and it's not fantastical or sci-fi, so I don't read a whole lot that isn't that. I believe it's a big epic, and it's about India, and it's set in the 1970s. It tells the story of 4 unlikely people whose lives come together during a time of political turmoil soon after the government declares a state of internal emergency. Through their days of bleakness and hope, their circumstances and their fates become inextricably linked in ways no one could have seen. I think this will be a really interesting one. I believe the author is Indian, so I'm sure it would be a great perspective to read from, and I don't really know anything about India, to my shame, so it would be a great one to dive into. I'm just a little bit intimidated by the length of it, so I'm not sure I would get this whole thing done. I might just have to start it and read it over a fairly long period of time. The next one I have is by Helen Oyemi, and this is called What Is Not Yours Is Not Yours. It's a short story collection that I've had for a while. As far as I know, Helen Oyemi is a British woman of colour, and I'm definitely interested in reading her work. I have been for ages. I am excited by this because I think it's kind of a magical realist collection of stories. I think it's going to be really fun and interesting, and I can't wait to check out what Helen Oyemi does because, you know, I've never read any of her books, so this is a perfect excuse, and I think this will be great for the readathon to sort of dip in and out some stories, because I always like short stuff in readathons as well as long stuff, so this would be good for that, I'm sure. The next one I have is Lagoon by NNEDI Okorafor, who is a Nigerian writer, I believe. I've read Binti by NNEDI Okorafor, and I enjoyed it, but not as much as I was expecting to. However, I have heard fantastic things about Lagoon and about her other book, The Book of Phoenix, which I do also own. This one is the one that intrigues me at the moment, and this one says, a star falls from the sky, a woman rises from the sea, and the world will never be the same. 3 strangers, each isolated by his or her own problems, Adeora, the marine biologist, Anthony, the world-famous rapper, and Agu, the troubled sailor, wandering the beach outside Lagos, Nigeria's capital city, where they're more alone than they've ever been before. But when a meteorite hits the ocean and a tidal wave overcomes them, these 3 people will find themselves bound together in ways they've never imagined. Together with Ayodele, a visitor from beyond the stars, they must race through Lagos and against time itself in order to save the city, the world, and themselves. Sounds very dramatic, sounds pretty cool, with definite hints of sci-fi. Can't wait to give it a go, and I mean, this cover is stupendously amazing. I love it, so that's really cool. Can't wait to check this out. The next one I have is I Am Malala, and this is a non-fiction about a young girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban. That is the strapline, and it's about Malala Yousafzai. I think that's how you say her name. There was a film made of this. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it's amazing, and I've heard that this book is amazing, and her story is amazing. And she is a young Pakistani woman who started out in a remote village in Pakistan, and now it has actually been to places like the United Nations because of what she did and what she stood up for and how she has been as a person. And I'm really intrigued by her story. I don't know a whole lot about it, so I think it's going to be awesome. I might save this for non-fiction November, but equally I am so intrigued by this I might just have to read it in this week, so we'll see. The next one I have is by a Malaysian author, and this is TWAN, and the book is called The Garden of Evening Mists, and this one I picked up after Mercedes told me about the author. Apparently it's quite magical realist in style, and it's set in the highlands of Malaya. A young woman sets out to build a memorial to her sister killed at the hands of the Japanese during the brutal occupation of their country. Yun Ling's quest leads her to the Garden of Evening Mists and to Aritomo, a man of extraordinary skill and reputation, once the gardener of the Emperor of Japan. When she accepts his offer to become his apprentice, she begins a journey into her past, inextricably linked with the secrets of her troubled country's history. Now, I know literally nothing about Malaysia, so it'll be really interesting to get this author's perspective, and apparently this is absolutely beautifully written, so I can't wait to dive into something with a bit more lyricism to it as well. The next one I have is by Han Kang, and this is called Human Acts, and I believe Han Kang is a South Korean author. It's quite a short book, and I've heard great things from people about this, but I really don't know anything about it, to be honest. I believe it's about South Korea, and it's set in the wake of a viciously suppressed student uprising in the 1980s. A boy is searching for his friend's corpse, and a consciousness searches for its abandoned body. A brutalized country searches for its voice. So that sounds really, really interesting. Definitely a short but interesting read, I'm sure. In the Month of the Midnight Sun by CECILIA EKBACK. And I believe CECILIA EKBACK is a Finnish author. This says, an orphaned boy brought up to serve the state as a man, a rich young woman incapable of living by the conventions of society, Neither is prepared for the journey into the heat, mystery, violence and disorienting perpetual daylight of the far north. And I think this does have a slight fantastical twist or leaning to it, so I'll definitely be intrigued to see what that is. But I mean, it's a beautiful cover. Look at that, it's just lovely. I can't wait to read some Finnish work. I haven't really read anything by a Finnish author, so I'm really intrigued and I can't wait to give it a go. And the final one that I have is this one. It is An Unrestored Woman and Other Stories, and it's by SHOBHA, or SHOBHA, I'm not sure how you say that. It sounds amazing. I think Mercedes was talking about this a little while ago to me, and I bought it instantly when she was telling me about it because it just sounded great. The author lived in India until she was about 7 years old. She was born there and then she moved to the USA, so I think it'll be a really interesting collection of stories. In An Unrestored Woman, the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947 cuts a jagged path through the lives of ordinary people, leaving ripples of sorrow through time and space. Each couplet of stories spans the Indian subcontinent, from refugee camps and torch trains to the spacious verandas of the British Raj, and billows into the wider world. An old woman recounts the murdering of what was most precious to her, and the many small cuts that led her to that act. A girl forced into prostitution wields patience as deftly as a weapon, and manages to escape her fate. An Indian servant falls in love with his employer and spins a web of deceit. All of that sounds amazing. Cover is again amazing on this one, as you can see, so I just think this will be excellent. And that is it. Those are all the books I have. There's quite a lot, so I definitely don't think I'll get through them all, but I would love to hear which ones you think I should prioritise, because I'm super excited about them all and I'm going to have a really hard time choosing, so do leave me comments below telling me which one you would like me to read. Thank you so much to the hosts for organising this. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I cannot wait to see everyone else's TBRs and hopefully get some great recommendations from all the wrap-ups and seeing what people enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if you're going to be joining in with the readathon below too, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.